All right. I think Google has done its thing, so I guess we're live. This is an unnumbered ShadowCast. This is going to be a slight discussion. I am Shadow Fox Infinite, rogue ninja of K9 descent, I guess if you will. I have with me GROCK, is a member of Reboot Gaming, if I'm not incorrect. And
Yep.
I'm incorrect.
No, you're right. You're
right. Okay. So we had a discussion. Our this discussion ended up being kind of stemming back from a discussion about a really dumb game. But anyways, it originally started way back when on a discussion from one of your fellow members, Active Zen Gaming, which was actually talking about Halo 5 Guardians and the frame rate data that a certain website, Digital Foundry, somehow came up with the information that they came up with. And I take it that you didn't disagree with some of my comments and my analysis. So I guess go ahead and take it away. Tell me exactly what you were thinking at that point in time.
I never said, and at that point, you asked Digital Foundry, and did I find them trustworthy? I said, no, I don't find Digital Foundry trustworthy. But I also said that I don't find you trustworthy. My reason is behind that. One, you do make claims, in my experience from watching your videos, you make claims and discuss on topics as if you are a developer. As noticed in the ShadowCast where you did talk about Bethesda, their viewpoints on the Wii U, having games run on the Wii U. Which in that actual chat, I asked you, when you were going back and forth with somebody when on there, they asked you asked them for proof that the Wii U couldn't run these games. I asked you, I said, well, Shadow, you never supply proof for anyone. You always ask for proof. And I asked multiple times in that, where was your proof that it could happen? Never received it. You never posted it. You never said it. A link article, you never posted it after that. We dropped it. Still brought it up to that. So that's my thing. If you, like you always say, you seem to be a very logical and literal person, which I've seen in your actual videos. How do you always not have to, you bring up proof, man? What's up? That's the only thing I just wanted to know. Like,
okay. So for me to give you proof, if you will, there has to be a baseline of communication, and I can't give you a baseline of communication unless we're on the same page. So how familiar are you with coding or programming in general?
Not really at all. I don't claim to have the set of knowledge that you do. So I would like to learn that though. Please tell me.
Okay. So the first thing you have to deal with is abstraction layers, and they start from the lowest to the highest. The very lowest being the circuits on the board going all the way up into the person that's punching keys on the keyboard. You have to program for all that in mind. Now, that being said, I can't really give a hello world class, if you will, writing your first line of code and doing printf and things like that. But all things being said, one of the general things is that all code is possible on all hardware. Okay. How you do it determines how you do it. How it's done is going to be, your implementation is going to require that. Saying something is not possible basically means that it's not possible within your given time frame or your money or your scope or something to that effect. That being said, there exist games that were said to be impossible to run on, say, the Wii, that later got ported to the iPhone 3S. So 3GS, I'm sorry, which clearly is contradictory. Now, I can go into certain details specifically. Well, one thing being that for a game to quote unquote run, the main code has to run. So the menu screen or the main code before the game runs, or the main game loop, is all CPU bound. It has nothing to do with graphics or anything like that. The game will run. The only thing that the GPU requires is the assets and how it manages those assets from the code that's given from the CPU. Now, given in this consideration, I'm I want to make sure that we're talking about the same thing here. You're talking about Bethesda basically not supporting Nintendo, correct?
Yeah, that was the basis of your conversation.
Okay, so Bethesda, like I said in that podcast or in that video anyway, Bethesda hasn't supported Nintendo since the NES anyway. So they've never really had a basis to really support any platform that they've ever done, because Nintendo, number one, they keep everything, you know, mostly private or whatever, and they don't generally give out, say, hey, here's a target device for you to work on, that you have to purchase a development kit ahead of time. This is all general knowledge for the most part anyway. You purchase a development kit ahead of time and you hedge your bets based on that. And typically Nintendo doesn't really give that much information with their development kit anyway. You have to figure out what it's capable of doing by you playing around in the environment that you're in. They don't give you a sheet and say, hey, it does this, and it does this. Go. If you're smart enough, you can figure it out. Most people, I guess, that got the Wii U and the Wii and going all the way back to GameCube didn't figure it out, or they were forced to pawn it off to what we would call a port house that would port the games for them, like Ubisoft Shanghai, Tiburon before they became the main headliners for EA Sports games. Those kind of development houses, they ended up getting more work because they ported stuff to Nintendo and other platforms. And other development houses, they never really focused on that, so they outsourced the work elsewhere. Being said, if a Bethesda game was ever going to be on the Nintendo platform, that's probably how it would happen. And the question would be, is it? And this is my educated opinion. Obviously, I can't really say that, you know, this is actually what they would do, but they would have to do a cost analysis on it and basically say, hey, if we do this and we spend this amount of money to get this game done there, you know, in this amount of time, meaning that they can't spend the 3 years developing this open world Skyrim game or whatever just for the Wii U. They have to make sure that not only that the Wii U is taken care of, but that their main source of revenue from the last game is taken care of. So if the main source of revenue was, say, the Xbox 360, you have to make sure that the Xbox fan base is going to be able to be there, so you can make good on your returns when you decide to develop this game. That being said, you know, you can try to start programming stuff, and if your code isn't scalable, you're going to start to have issues, particularly when you're talking about let's say taking stuff from one set of CPU to another set of CPU, and taking, say, a high frequency CPU with lower output to a lower frequency CPU with higher output. You're going to start having code issues, and you're going to start having lag and things like that, because your code was expecting these many interrupts here, and then in another situation you have other interrupts that may be a better performing piece of hardware, but because it is lower clocked. You know, keep in mind that the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 are just as lower clocked as the Wii U is compared to last generation. With the, you know, they were over 3 gigahertz at that point, but they were 3 gigahertz doing much less tasks at a time. So there's no we can just copy and paste and put stuff here and then it magically works over here. They have to basically rework all the code to be able to work just for the game to boot. Now, when you start actually having the game to boot and stuff like that, then you start talking about using art assets and making sure the RAM is able to handle the texture sets in the game and stuff like that. So, to say the game can't run, well, I mean, that defies the logic of programming at its core.
So, from what the basis of that conversation was, and what I guess I'm still asking, because I don't think you can provide it, because I've looked myself factually. Without your knowledge, with the set of knowledge that you have, you can't prove that Bethesda's claims of not having, or when any developer claims that these games can't run or whatever, no matter how untrue or how biased it is, without your set of knowledge, factually, you can't claim that these work. Is what I'm saying. You don't have a source to provide that. Is what I'm saying.
Anybody that's written a line of code before knows that that's PR speak. That's what I'm
All right.
saying.
Well. Let me use one of your terms because that we actually went back and forth on. What you decide to add, beside answering my binary question, is irrelevant. Is your terms. If we're going to get technical, I know you're a very technical person. Factually, do you or do you not have any evidence to support what you're saying? Because I'm not doubting your set of knowledge. That's not in question here. You do seem like a very intelligent person as far as technology is concerned.
Oh,
But
it's more than that, but you can
you
continue.
factually, you don't. Do you have anything to support what you're saying, or is this just your set of knowledge that I'm supposed to go off of?
Well, let's put it this way. I can pull up some source documents, and basically all it is old school white papers on just getting base code from x86 to Power Architecture working just fine. And not only that, but Power Architecture it can work in little Indian mode as well. It can do strict conversion. So at the very, how can I say this? At the very binary level, it's definitely possible to quote you.
Okay.
So
Oh,
if you want that, I can show you those discussions.
I
I can
would.
link those.
I
Okay,
I
I can
would.
link it.
No,
I'll
it's
put
it's,
it.
it's 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 nothing personal, man. It's just every time I see you debate anyone, you always point the finger for like always for a source, always for a link. And I'm not in
Do,
that. You made this comment
do you
earlier, and,
do you know why
not
that
to cut you
is?
off.
Do you know why that
Yeah,
is?
go ahead. Please answer. Please let me
Because
know. I would like to know.
unlike the information that I'm about to give you, everybody's
Hmm.
information that I have these discussions with, it ends up being popular opinion or them reading a headline and not looking at the true source of the article that they're trying to use.
Okay.
So I'll give you this, and while I'm giving you that, that was just more of what I was talking about, and the reason why I was saying that is because Digital Foundry and the way that they find frame rates, if you will, is a tad bit archaic. I don't know. I don't know how much you follow any other type of things, but as far as performance tests and stuff like that, um, typically what somebody would do, what the average person would do, is they would install fraps or something like that. It would chew up their CPU and give them some arbitrary number based on how well their CPU is able to chew through fraps and run the game at the same time. That doesn't really give you a good gauge as to what's actually going on there. Now, what Digital Foundry is doing is taking a capture from whatever video feed they get. In this case, it's really sketchy because it's coming from a already doctored video that 343 has sent to them. So they decided to take the captured video and then try to do a frame rate test on it. I'm like, you might as well do a frame rate test on a trailer. That doesn't really that does nothing. Now, if you're actually playing the game and you're doing that, then we start asking exactly how you captured it. Did you capture it going from the output of the device, or did you catch the output of the device going in between that and the actual TV to make sure there's a full connection and it's going through and you're capturing the data as it was intended to go to the display? Or are you capturing stuff directly from the GPU and things of that nature? So it starts to get real hairy, and Digital Foundry they're the only testing, or quote unquote testing resource out there that refuses to show exactly how they get their information and how their tests are done. Everybody else out there they'll give you a full video on how they do frame rating, which is actually a better way to do this now, because you have to deal with things like G-Sync, V-Sync, and things like that to capture true frames, and you can capture true stutter if it happens, or in this case, we will call it tearing, or actual frame rate captures and tests. And that's something that many websites do. And Nante did it a long time ago. PC Per, all those different places. They show you how they capture video and how they will capture a source and then determine the frame rate test based on how many complete frames are outputted divided by time. So the issue becomes, why are they just allowed to do this and they're the biggest source, and now they sell basically their own internal tests, their proprietary tests, to companies basically, and they send that information back to them and also source it with the media. So the media gets in and they get a little spin or whatever. Like this is actually part of their sign up sheet. If you go to their page, if you go to Digital Foundry's page, they actually sell this. They sell this to people, and that's how they make their money. I just find that a bit odd because everybody else is very transparent with how they get their data, and Digital Foundry just refuses. They just say, hey, this is our analysis. Like, okay, where'd you get this wavetable synthesis from, and what numbers is it reading? It's just going up and down, and you're attaching a number to it while the video is going. So what math is creating this? And show us the complete frames versus the incomplete frames, and where's the stutter, where's the hitch? None of it is highlighted, so we need to, you get what I'm saying? So I can't help but feel a little bit sketchy. Now, if you don't find me as a viable source because of what that one little issue with
no, and as I said, from the conversations that we've had, and I will put this out here, from the conversations that we've had, it seems, and I can see, because I've been asked by Real and other people, it seems that some people think that me and you have a problem. I don't have a problem with you, and I want to put that out there. I don't want you or any of your group or any of my group to think that our groups are butting heads no matter how or who individually has a problem. My issue is that, one, you make a lot of videos, and as I said, you are very technologically inclined. I'm also still waiting on the links, by the way. I don't know if you got them or I can see them.
I'm sending them.
And two, you do speak on the basis, because you have that knowledge, you speak on the basis of a developer, but factually cannot actually speak on the basis of a developer, because, and correct me if I'm wrong, you don't work for Nintendo, do you?
No. Well, I mean,
you don't develop for the.
But there are many people that work for Nintendo that aren't developers. So what do you mean?
Right,
mean
right.
by that?
Do you develop on the Wii U? Do you develop on one of their platforms? I'll make it back clear.
No, I've never developed on any of Nintendo's platforms ever.
So
I just don't see how that.
So no. I'm just asking the question the same way.
Okay,
and I'm saying this is why we go back and forth.
Okay.
You have that subset of knowledge. That's fine. But factually, what you're saying is just what you're speaking from your point, your knowledge, your pool of knowledge. So essentially, do you know how to develop for the Wii U or any other platform that Nintendo's at? Like if they put it in front of you with some resources, could you do it?
Yes.
You could say with 100% confidence that you could actually build a Wii U title for the Wii U.
Unless everything that we currently know about this platform is completely different when they sit it in front of me, yes.
And I've always wanted this, because no one ever seems to answer me. I know you have some kind of job as working on computers. I've been told, correct? Because you have to, because this isn't just a hobby thing for you, right?
My major is information management security, and my job is information management security for a 3-letter entity.
Okay, so going back to my question, since you don't develop for the Wii U, what you're saying is you're just pulling from your pool of knowledge, and I am expected to, and that may work for you because that's what you know. So for those that don't know about you, are we expected to trust you more than Digital Foundry, which is what the basis of our first encounter was about? I don't know you, so no, I don't trust you. I don't trust most people that I don't know.
And why would I? And why would you? So if you would, really quick, you've vocally spoken about technology things as well on any of the podcasts that you've been a guest on. So tell me, what is your background on any of that information?
None. I don't claim to have a technological background.
So why would you give?
But I also do not claim to have a factual opinion, as in some of your infernal thought process videos. So name a scenario or give me an example of what I've given my opinion on. Can you give me a time, a video, quote, timestamp, something?
I'm just speaking in general.
Right.
I know.
Okay. So
unless you're going to tell me you haven't ever spoke about technology at all, I mean, I know I've heard you speak a couple of times on it. I mean, I could really.
No, yeah, I'm sure. I just want. Yeah, I would like to. I just need an example because, as I said, I actually have examples. I gave you one. I mean, I have timestamps and quotes because, like I said, and you've said it earlier in that first post, I'm a very logical person. That's why I think me and you won. We bumped heads the first time. So I don't, like I said, I don't think I don't have an issue with you. You just expected me to go ahead and agree with what's being said here when
No, I don't.
I don't know you.
No, I don't.
So
I want
why would
anybody to disagree with me to teach me something. That's what I want. So if there's something that you don't believe, I would like to see why. And all you told me now is that you don't believe what I'm saying. I don't know whether you agree with what Bethesda was originally saying or not.
No, I never.
Right now,
I never,
it just sounds like you're
said
just
that.
disagreeing with me because you don't understand the basis where I'm coming from.
No, what I say, and I did not agree. I did not do that, and this is where we got into it beforehand.
For
What
those
I
that are
asked,
listening real quick, I'm sorry. For those that are listening real quick, this is what it came down to. I asked if we trust Digital Foundry, and earlier G-Rock said, I've heard your stuff, but I don't trust you either. And we kind of went back and forth, and it basically was based on the history of my posting and me making videos that he didn't believe in my style of debate or providing information for those that were. And that's okay. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, I mean, and to pick up where you left off, for those listening, if I am wrong, I mean, I'm not saying that you never have. At least in some of the videos that I've seen, and the one I quoted, in that one I just said, you don't post any links or articles, and I'm still waiting on the links that you're supposed to be giving me that I've asked for. This is
But
the
I
second or
do.
third time. Well, do you have that link for me though? Because as I said, I'm just wondering, like, and I said, I'm not disagreeing with your tech knowledge. And for those out there, technologically speaking, yeah, he is above and beyond what my common understanding of systems are. What I asked, go ahead.
So, just to go ahead and debunk that real quick, right after the last debate that I did with Shokyo, I released a little video about the official standards that are actually that do exist for the video game industry, the very few that do exist. There are several links, not only in the description, but I actually showed some in the video themselves, along with a picture of the site and the org. I'm pretty good with that for the most part. And if I don't post something for something that I may say on the off skirt, I'm willing for anybody to make a comment with that. If I missed the comment that you asked for some information and I did not reply to it, I don't know how long ago that was. How long ago is this video we're talking about? You're talking about my very first video?
No, I don't think it was your very first video. The one that I quoted earlier was the Bethesda one, in which I was in the comment section maybe three times, if I remember. I'm gonna at least say two. I don't want to say I wasn't going on 3 or 4 times. But I know I asked to provide proof from what you were saying. You never supplied him any. And the only reason I got involved and even said anything is because, one, you demanded that someone else supply you with proof, and you didn't. So my question to you is, and you said this again, you said this before, you speaking on what is common knowledge. That's not what you have is not common knowledge, and maybe you don't recognize that because of your field of study.
No, I never claimed that it was common knowledge. Common knowledge is what I'm fighting against, because common knowledge is what everybody else is regurgitating from headlines. I know that what I am thinking is not common. That's the only reason I have a channel.
Right. And it's funny because you actually said you have a channel, and in that same video too, where you actually made that quote, this is why you have a channel and you want people to teach you. You also said that you wanted to be maybe a serious reporter, jokingly speaking, but being a little person that I am, I just assume that proof is given. So like I said, I'm not the kind of person that when I don't know someone, if you don't supply me with evidence, if you don't supply me with an article, a link, some kind of fact that I can look and read myself, what you saying has no bearing. What you say has no bearings. So I mean, as your post said too on there, I don't have to believe you, and why should I?
No, you don't.
And like, right, exactly.
So here's my question. Here's my question though. You don't believe me. What do you factually believe regarding Bethesda and Wii U? What do you believe?
I just believe they don't have a relationship with Nintendo at all. I honestly don't care about what happens with Bethesda and Wii U. Like that doesn't interest me. I just found it funny that you commented and asked for something and would not do the same. That's my thing.
So the link to the source is in here. There's many more like this. But literally all you have to do is convert the Indianness of your code from big to little. And Power Architecture, Power 8 and Power 7 in some cases is able to do that for you. Now with regards to that comment, now I'm going to always ask for this information because apparently it's always thrown around. So you'll hear well, Wii U is weak, or it can't do this, or it can't do that. And I say, oh, really? What's the source? Well, this developer from Rocksteady said that it can't run. What developer? Then they mention the name of a PR guy. That's not a developer. Then they go to, they said it can't run on Wii U. Really? What source? Then they go to the source, and it's IGN or whatever, who misquoted the hell out of the actual article. So we go to the actual interview, and then you go to the actual interview, and it's from the PR guy, and the PR guy never mentioned Wii U at all. He was talking about 360 and PS3. And when he talks about Wii U, he talks about this cryptic, it's not in our wheelhouse of technology, which could mean anything with regards to buying development kits, having resource allocation for that platform, and things of that nature.
Right. So, but do you understand though why, or at least I'll play devil's advocate here, and I will agree with you to that, and I will agree with you that people do make comments about things they don't know about, and yeah, we're human. Everyone does that. Everyone does that. It's not just people who aren't just super literal. It's everyone does that. But developers have more say so. They have more standing, or they sit higher morally with other individuals than say someone like yourself who doesn't work on consoles or doesn't build games. Yeah, you may have the knowledge to.
Oh, but I write code just like they do.
Right, I understand that. Understandable. And as I said, I never. When did I say? What I said was that you, and I won't even speak for anybody else. I'll speak for me. I was asked why I didn't trust you. Mm-hmm. Why would I? I didn't know you didn't write code. You didn't tell me you wrote code. You never said that. You never said that one time in the conversation.
What is the difference between me and a developer? Really? You tell me.
Okay, it's a really simple one. Do you develop on console?
What is it? How was that a difference? How was that a difference?
Do you develop on console? And please answer my binary question.
No,
as you said.
Okay, that's your binary question. Then what?
Okay.
Now what does that do?
You don't. That's the difference. That is what the difference is. That is the difference. You asked me a question. I want to answer.
How is that a difference?
You asked me a question. What is the difference? I
just asked you another one.
You write code. You write code. They do too. Are you paid to work on a console? Are you? No matter how minuscule of a difference that seems to you, that's a difference. You don't do that.
That's really,
they do. And even if you disagree with the fact that, hey, this makes no sense because I have that same subset of knowledge, I have that same amount of knowledge, the same pool of knowledge. Until you start writing, until you start developing on console, for those people that who don't agree with you, that is why. And yeah, it may be a stupid reason to you. I'm not saying that what they say is wrong. I mean, is right. What I'm saying is, if you don't develop on console, people don't really believe what you say.
Okay.
And until you explain what you do, they're not going to believe what you say.
You just said you're a really logical person, right? So follow the logic here. You're saying that even though we do the exact same thing, because I'm not paid to do it for a brand that you recognize, therefore we're completely different.
What brand do you do it for?
I'm going to give you an analogy here. Do you know how to write a check?
Do you want me to answer the question, or are we going?
Yeah, that's a binary question.
Yeah, sure.
So you do know how to write a check. Why should I trust you on writing a check if a financial officer can do it? They're paid to do it every day. You know how to do it too. Does that mean you don't know how to write a check and that you telling me that you need an account number and that you need a date and you need a signature? Does
No,
that
I'll
make
agree with that.
does
Yeah.
that make what you're saying irrelevant? You know how to do the same thing the financial officer does. He may have a little bit more details because he has more assets. But does that mean his core job is impossible to do?
No, I don't think so.
Does it mean you
No,
can't see through the veil of their job?
no, I agree with you. I said no.
I'll say it. I'll put it another way as well, because there are a lot of car aficionados out there. Are you going to tell me that I can't change oil because that's what a mechanic is paid to do? Are you going to tell me I don't know how the fuel system of a car works because that's what a mechanic is paid to do? Yeah, that is what I'm trying to bring to the forefront here. Just because a developer has access to tools does not mean it is not an embedded computer system. And an embedded computer system, a lot of people work on those. They just aren't game systems. They're either teller machines, ATM teller machines, they're bank kiosks, they could be casino machines, they could be anything. It could be a vending machine. The whole point is there's an embedded CPU and GPU there. There's memory and there's custom firmware and custom code running on it. That's the only difference.
So what I'm saying is, and I guess let me pose it to you this way: trusting someone that I know nothing about, or trusting a known brand that I've invested into for years. Which one do you do? If we were opposites, let's say I was you. If Nintendo made a comment about something and you felt they were wrong, and this could in fact, let's just say Nintendo says no, Fallout couldn't run on the Wii U, and you say it could, I'm supposed to trust you or Nintendo?
Obviously, you're going to trust Nintendo,
right?
Until I explain that they're wrong. So the same. Here's the thing. So it comes down to things like where you have, how can I say this, where you start to hear things that don't really make sense, even in the basics of computer science, right? So yeah, computer science is my major also. So when you start dealing with things like, okay, the Wii U can't output at 1080p. At that point, basic math fails that comment. So even if a developer says that, they're full of shit. Because at that point, you start to add up the color depth, you start to add up the horizontal and the vertical size of the display that you're trying to get. You come up with the amount of million bits that is, and you start to divide it, and then you find out how much frame buffer that actually requires, and then you see if that console has it. It's either a yes or no question. And if that person says, no, it can't, they're full of shit. Period.
Okay. So, and this just brings me back to my initial question. For people who don't know you, why should they trust you?
They don't have to trust me. They can
my point.
Listen,
that was the point I made to you.
They don't have to trust me. That is why I made the video that I made with all the links in it. That is why when I talk to anybody regarding resolution, specifically on Google Plus, for whatever reason, people like to talk about resolution a lot. I ask them, how do you derive those numbers? And they say they don't know. I said, maybe you should go here so you know how frame buffer is actually calculated. So you know exactly what you're talking about next time. I mean, you don't have to trust me. Look at the numbers yourself and then go back and say that you can't do 1080p, because clearly you can't read.
Okay. And as I said, I don't know if you quoted me in saying that the Wii U couldn't do 1080p. I don't know if that one is okay. I just want to make sure that that's not directed at me, because I didn't say that. For people in the audience too, I never said that.
I don't even remember the comment about Bethesda. The only interaction that I remember from you was the Halo 5 and the Sonic Lost World bullshit or whatever. So that's the only issue I have is if you don't. I am not the person that's asking to be trusted here. My whole issue is, why do you trust these people? And this is why I say you should not trust these people, because of this right here. And guess what? This information is public information. This is not something that I'm just creating.
You see me say that I trusted Digital Foundry though. That, and I'm talking
No, I
about
asked, did you?
Right. And what was my reply to that?
You said no, but you don't trust me. You don't trust me. You trust me worse, basically.
No. I only said I trusted you worse because after we had our little back and forth, and I also will get into. I want to get into that a little bit after. We'll talk about that part later because I don't want to go off topic here. I never said that I didn't trust. I trusted Digital Foundry. I just said no. You just don't seem to provide proper. You know, and then the reason that I also and it completely has nothing to do with your knowledge set. It just seems that there with a certain member or captain of mine who actually holds our group together, there was a miscommunication. Yeah, sure, we can call him that if you want.
You're right.
I refer to him. We can call him a captain if you like, or a naval officer.
But okay.
But I mean, there was a discussion that was to be had there that was avoided. I don't know. To me, and as I said, they're not supposed to be a face-to-face between you two.
That's funny because I asked for one the entire night.
Oh, okay. I mean, I know what you're talking about. No, I hear what you about. I know what you're about to say because I saw your comments in the video. I saw him drop those links multiple times. I have the pictures to show that those links were dropped to you. I just never heard it in the exact thing that was said and uttered was Google.
But you saw the post that I made too, where I plussed him as well, right?
Okay, yeah, I did.
Before everything started.
I saw that you were invited days beforehand and that you didn't show up to a video multiple times that you were invited to.
No, I was only invited once. That night. Now that night he may have sent it to more than one account. But as far as the invites, it was only for that one event. I didn't miss more than one event. Are you talking about more than one event?
I'm talking about the same event. I'm saying you were invited multiple times.
That same event, 19 minutes before that, if you watch the video, 19 minutes before that, I put a comment out there saying that unless Google is fucking up, he has canceled this event because I had the Hangout notifications sent to me in my comment, in my little notification feed. And then all of a sudden it disappeared. Apparently, talking to somebody in the chat or whatever, they say that happens when you go live for like the first 5 minutes. It goes away.
Yeah, I actually do know that. I do know that.
So I sent that comment and plussed him on it, and I put it there twice. And I sent it to everybody. I sent it to everybody in my group so everybody could see, look, I'm not dodging this dude. It's not here. I don't know what's going on. And all of a sudden, boom. I'm like, whatever. I'm going to go get me something to eat. That's what the comment was. I'm going to get something to eat because it looks like this is canceled. And I plussed him on it. There is no way he didn't see that.
Okay. And as I said, I don't have any fact to refute what you're saying. But what I do have is pictures from multiple links saying that you were invited. And it just seemed and I'm not saying that you would dodge somebody. You just seem to have dodged that conversation. And it has not come back up to. Have you asked him to reschedule that?
Did you see the multiple pictures that I put in that video of everything that I did? Did you watch
that? No, I didn't. Actually, would you like to show me those? Because I can show you mine. Yeah, you can show me that because I can show you mine.
Yeah. I already know his because I saw what my feed said.
Okay. Well, I guess would you like to see that, or do you already know that? So I don't have to share that.
They went away. No, you don't have to share that, but you might want to see. You might want to see everything that I put up. So I'll link you to probably the video. Is probably the best thing to do because it has everything on there. So if you look there, then you'll see exactly what I'm talking about because that's actually just kind of craziness, but it is what it is. I'll link you to that just a second here, and you'll also see if you actually go to the supposed video in question. If you look in the comments, I was asking him to start it like 30 minutes after he finished. After he finished, I'm like, dude, I'm here. Let's go. No, you missed it. There are a lot of people in line now. We'll have to reschedule that another time. And I never heard anything from there. after that, I did a podcast, and I did like 2 or 3 podcasts actually, and invited him. Actually, quite a few of y'all. I invited all of y'all to him. Nobody.
Whoa. To be fair, you extended that to, and I don't know if you didn't know I was a member or not. You extended that to Zen, Mega,
Yeah, I knew.
Alex, and Coupon. Yeah, okay. I didn't. I was not named because I received the list of people who was named. I wasn't on that list.
I may have omitted you and Bear Hugger. I think I put Real Gamer on there. But I extended it to.
How did Real get? And this for everybody. This is not even just you.
Right,
this is not your. This is not even your. No, this is not a dig at you at all.
Oh,
how are y'all going with Real, man, and trying to like go? And I've been here longer than this nigga, dog.
I don't know I just know right after he joined or whatever, he was on a lot of podcasts or whatever, so I invited him. And yeah, he didn't really show either. So this is the video in question with everything on it. I'll link this to you now so you can see that everything here is, and everybody that's following me right now probably already saw it, but it was Infernal Thought Process Hypocritical Steps to September Irony Edition is the name of it. So in that video there, I list everything that was going on there, and there are screenshots of everything that happened, to include all the quote unquote trolling that I was supposed to be doing in the chat. But if you look at the chat, everybody was talking off topic anyway. So, but there were a lot of things that I got on in that video. Basically, every point that he made, I countered. But so there was no dodging, if you will. And if you go and look, or I can post a screenshot actually, or I can bring up, I could probably share my screen once I pull up his stuff. But yeah, right on his page, there was I made a comment on that video, basically saying, hey, look, you know, whatever, I went to go eat or whatever. So
I did see your comment. I know that exists.
You did see that?
Yeah, I did see your comment. Yes, I did.
Okay. Did you see his reply to it?
Yes, I saw his reply. I actually have a picture of his reply and yours. So I know you were there. I know you did try to get in touch with him.
Yeah. So why would I be trying to avoid? And I even made the comment. I even made the comment publicly. Do you really think I would try to avoid this? And somebody else replied, no.
I do remember you saying that.
Okay. So I
do remember you saying that.
But you see what I'm replying to though, right? Because you.
No. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What my question was, and this is beforehand, and this goes what I was saying. There are reasons, and I mean, I don't know if you reached back out to him, or if he, like you said, like you claim to have reached back out to him. I happen to know that, you know, there hasn't been any kind of schedule trying to be pushed together. Not trying to throw Zen under the bus here. I'm just trying to be factual here. There hasn't been any kind of, you know, meeting this back up. So, and to me personally, I can only say, and from where I've witnessed, from my experience, it seemed, and it may, however unintentional it was, or whatever issues were going on, it seemed that it was dodged, which in that case is a shot of integrity to me, meaning that I didn't trust you. That is also a reason why I didn't trust you. And I didn't say anything about your knowledge at that point. I just said I didn't trust you. That's just me, man. I mean, and like you said, I shouldn't trust you, but that gave me a reason. I'm like, if you're not gonna show up, you want me to trust you more than Digital Foundry? Because I don't know, man. I just don't think Google loses multiple links. I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that. And I mean, maybe
there's no way that you could really be trying to cross-reference that. That's pretty bad.
No, I'm just saying, dude, is as far as your knowledge goes, that's one thing. As far as integrity goes, that's another. And it's really bad to me that what you used was Google lost the link. So I mean, maybe if it lost the link, you are like, what, the dime and how many? Because I've never heard of anyone saying Google lost the link. If you can provide that ever happened to you?
Let's put it this way. Typically, when people have issues to join a Google Hangout, what they do is what I did with you. I sent you a direct link in a private chat. That did not happen with him. He did not send me a direct link. It was just the invite coming directly from that. Now, if you have a picture of the direct link, I'd love to see that. Do you have that?
The picture of the direct link to him inviting you?
The HTML link going directly to the Hangout that he wanted to invite me to. Because
Actually,
that
let me
would
see
be
if I
the
do.
one that I was looking for.
Actually, let me see if I have it. I mean, I have a lot of stuff here, so I mean, and then if you like, I can actually see if maybe he did, because I'm sure he's quite as thorough as I am. So, do you want me to see if I can get it from him?
I would
'Cause
hope you're not as thorough as he is, because we would have had the hangout if he was that thorough.
Oh, okay. I mean, to be fair, you were invited multiple times, so I mean, I don't know, man. It kind of does seem like at that point someone was dodging. I don't know if it was him. I don't think it would have been. It kind of seemed like it was you. You refute that point. I can only say from what I saw and what I witnessed that it seemed like one person.
You only saw one side. I saw both. Please watch
Right, exactly, right. No,
and
you
then
see,
you tell
you
me.
see your side because you are defending yourself here,
No,
sir.
I saw both because I watched everything that he was saying, and I heard everything he was saying live. Then I watched it again because I made a video about it. Every word that he said. So I saw his perspective, and I also see mine, and I also see outside of it, and I can see how both of them got misconstrued. See, I'm able to do that. Even if I get if I'm able to get really angry about something or whatever, and say the other person's getting real angry, I'm able to step back maybe a couple seconds later and say, I see how they would have got upset about what I said angrily. I can also see why I got angry. I'm not one of those kind of people. I'm an outside of the box type of person.
I didn't say you were. I said that I feel like me and you share a lot of things.
My perspective.
You're defending yourself right now, are you not?
No. You said that you assumed
you are not explaining your side of the situation and what happened right now. That's not what you're doing.
When you said perspective and you said my perspective, why would you assume that I only saw mine?
You're defending yourself.
Why would you assume that I only saw mine?
Why are you only defending yourself if you saw both?
I'm not defending myself. I made a video about both points. If you watch the video,
I'm not talking about your video. I'm talking
my
right now.
My videos is talking about all of this.
I'm talking about right now. We're talking about right now. What you said, and everything that you had just said. You said that you are what? You didn't get that link. You want the HTML for it? If he had it, if he has it, if he still does it, that would be nice if you could provide me with that, Zen. That you didn't get it. You are describing what happened and why it didn't happen. That's what I asked you. So I know for a fact that why you ended up talking about, I didn't dodge it. You are explaining your side of why you feel like it wasn't dodged. That's defending your position.
I feel like it wasn't dodged. No, I'm telling you that because I was trying to get into the podcast.
So what you're saying is, correct me if I'm wrong, you are defending the position of why you did not make it into the podcast. Yes or no? Is that not what's going on?
No, what I'm saying is that factually, I made a comment to him about, I think the podcast is canceled. That is factual. That happened. There are screenshots of it everywhere. That is what I'm saying. Okay. You are saying that you can see how somebody would believe that I dodged, and how can that factually be resolved as a conclusion?
Actually, I have Zen asking me to let you in.
With the information I just gave you, how can you arrive to that conclusion?
Repeat your question. With that I can see his side or just yours?
So no, there's not a side. The whole.
Or you want me to see both of all of it, correct?
All of it. So your main thing was that you can see how somebody could say that I dodged it based on the limited information that you have. Now you will have all of the information once you look at the video that I'm talking about, and you see all the images of everything that I have on there. And then you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. And once you see that, source, can you what?
Can I bring in a source? Because I actually have a vocal source who is the side of the person you were supposed to face to face. He actually wants to explain his positioning because he doesn't seem to agree with what's lining up with you right now. Someone's wrong. Yeah, so Zen actually wants to come here and explain what's going on. Someone's wrong.
That's perfectly fine. I don't care.
Is that cool with you? I mean, this is your thing, man. So I don't. If it's disrespectful, as I said in the comments, I'm asking you as a man, and we will treat this as two men discussing.
It doesn't matter to me. I wanted to do a face to face anyway. It doesn't matter. I thought we were talking about something else, but that's fine. That's
no. I mean, and I don't. What you and Zen have going, or he wants to come in with this. My thing is, I said what I had to say.
Me and Zen have
to agree with that. He just doesn't seem to agree with that.
So he's talking to you now or something?
He just said he's watching, like your fans are watching. He's watching because he's supporting his group member. Is that okay? My group is watching too.
Because he's supporting me on my channel. Okay, that's fine.
Is one of their group members, they can't receive support?
Support? I mean, what do you mean by support?
I mean,
by him watching your video? Yeah, I mean,
they want to see. I mean, this is your video.
Yeah, I mean, what is he going to do?
Is that cool? No, I'm just saying. It seems that there's two conflicting things. So
what's conflicting?
He seems to think that something is conflicting with what your story is. So instead of speaking for him, I will allow that man to say his piece, and he can be gone.
Because
I don't want to speak for another man. I don't want to speak for another man. Is that cool with you?
That sounds great. Because you were kind of speaking for me too, and that maybe.
No, I don't. I apologize if I was speaking for you. I'm just saying I could see how some people think that it seemed like you dodged that.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
And what people are they?
One White Kong. Other people, not reboot.
You think
other people in your comment section, or in that comment section for that video, that
have you been reading all of One White Kong's posts?
I don't care about One White Kong's post. I care about what he thought in that situation. That the rest of it does not matter to me, honestly.
Did you read the rest of his post in that situation?
I read that post. What was the rest of his post? Please elaborate on that one.
One White Kong is a Mad Hatter. You know that, right?
Yeah. I also know Alex is one too.
Yeah. he spins up the drama. That's his job. That's what he sends me links all the time when he wants me to debate somebody.
Okay.
So
I'm just saying, man, if you want to throw him in after he says his piece, kick him. Because this has really nothing to do with this. I just want him to say his piece. I don't want to speak for a man. I'm
perfectly fine. Trust me. I'm not threatened in any way, shape, or form.
No, I don't want you to feel threatened, man. We're just talking. There's nothing to feel threatened about.
It's whatever. Let's see here. He should be on here. Let me send him this. And we can get him in. Yeah, we can get him in. That's not a problem at all. Not a problem. Which handle does he want? Because I don't want to. I'll send it to both. That's fine. There we go. So there we go. So he's in right now. So that I guess that's the topic at hand, if you will. So that made you feel that I was untrustworthy about a technical issue?
No, I said from that perspective, and I listened to you. So as I said, I listened to you, and I can see where what's going on with you.
How would that make me feel?
Did you didn't discuss this with me until this point? So what else am I supposed to know what happened with you?
You could ask.
We don't talk. You don't know me. That's the point of this.
But you wanted to know.
But you want me to trust you, and I don't know you. This is what I'm saying. I don't know you to trust you. I don't talk to strange people I don't know. I don't do that. I don't know if you do that. That ain't me.
why would I be less trustworthy than Digital Foundry? What have they done to earn your trust?
They aren't trustworthy. I never said they were trustworthy.
I said Digital Foundry is greater than you, or how can I say it's greater than you? Why?
I mean, yeah, that is true. Why? What have you done to prove that you're better?
What have I done to prove that I'm better? What if they done to prove that they're better?
I should trust you? Right, exactly. And the same could be said vice versa. So if you want to work it one way, work it the other.
So basically, you could have posted that and said Shadow Fox greater than Digital Foundry. For the same reason.
If I was gonna be one of my other really irritating group members that you guys seem to follow around and stuff, then yeah, I could have. What I said was no. I don't trust them.
Because the reasoning supports either decision.
Right, exactly my point. So why are you gonna say?
But you posted only one.
What have you done?
You only posted one
because I don't know you. That's my
Digital Foundry.
No, I know that they have something that you. I know that they have.
So you don't know them. You don't know me, but you trust them more than me.
I don't. I did not say that. What I said was Digital Foundry greater than you is in being a troll and being an a-hole. And if you want to be technical about that, yeah, then let's say that. Let's say I do trust Digital Foundry more than you.
Why?
But
You don't know them, like you said.
why
So how
should
are
I
they
trust?
trustworthy?
Should I? Right, I don't. No, you don't. No, I
So
don't.
how
But
are
I
they
also
more
don't know
trustworthy?
Nintendo. I also don't know Nintendo. Should I trust them with their console more than I trust you with the Wii U? Or no, because I don't
Nobody
know
should
Nintendo.
trust
Okay.
anybody with
Oh,
a
okay.
console.
Okay.
Nobody
Okay.
should trust anybody with a console because that all depends on your opinion and what you want to play. If you end up with games you don't like to play and you bought a console expecting to get games you want to play, that's on you.
So what? I have all three. I had all three, bro. I mean, I
I
don't have a
do
Wii U at
too.
this
I've
point anymore,
owned
so
every
that
console
doesn't.
since the fifth
That's fine.
generation.
That's fine. What I'm saying is, in case in point, which you still haven't answered, do you want me to trust Nintendo with something to develop games, or should I trust Shadow Fox Infinite, who I don't know has any kind of background on anything?
So you said you're a logical person, but that's a logical fallacy. And this is the same thing that I had that was an issue with Shokyo as well. It's called the problem of many questions, being that there's a binary answer that you want to a trap answer. So if you're going to give that type of a question, also apply it to yourself. Do do I trust Digital Foundry or
No,
Nintendo, and why? And if the reasoning is the same, then the entire reason of posing the question is false.
you've done all of that, and you still haven't, and you're still saying the same thing.
I'm
You
still
asked me the
saying your
question.
binary question is broken.
What right? And so you asking me, do I trust Digital Foundry over you? When what?
And you
And
say
no, and I
yes, and I
shouldn't.
say for what reason?
And I asked you the question: would you trust me to if I had your set of
How is
knowledge? Would
that
you trust me
answering the
if
question
you
that I
trust?
had?
No. How you want to know? Because let's see about this.
So you can't
Digital
answer why?
Foundry, not Digital Foundry. Yeah, do you want me to or not? Or is that
You
okay?
answered with
Is that
another question. You didn't answer why.
okay? I will give you. Do you want an answer? Yes or no?
Is it going to be a question, or are you actually going to have some type
No,
of argument?
I'm going to talk to you. That's cool.
Okay,
Digital
let's hear your
Foundry,
answer.
Digital Foundry represents an entity. You represent yourself. Entities, however corrupt or wrong they may be,
Whoa,
in
whoa, whoa,
my
whoa, whoa.
experience, as
Define
I
entity.
let me finish. Let me finish. This is what we were talking about earlier. You do not know how to have a discussion or a debate, which you
No, I
which you
don't.
clearly don't agree with.
Okay,
Which you clearly don't agree with because
go
you've
ahead.
asked me a question for a third time and you've cut me off.
Go ahead. You may finish.
An entity, or let's say a being or a company or a YouTube channel of individuals. Let's say it that way, who represents something that you individually claim to represent. Would I trust them over you? Yes. What do you present that holds you to the same standard as them? As I said, I didn't know you had that background. I still don't really know that much about you, but you want me to hold you to the same standard as I would anyone else? If I see you on the street walking down the street with a basketball and I see LeBron James, do you want me to take you over LeBron James? Oh, because you both got basketball. I don't know LeBron, but I don't know you either. But I should take you? No, okay. That doesn't help me.
But
That
if
doesn't
your
help me.
question, if your question is to ask me or LeBron, does a basketball bounce off the ground? Then the
That
position
wasn't my
changes
question.
completely.
But that wasn't my
But you
question.
get what I'm saying. But you
That
get what
wasn't my
I'm saying.
question. Right. So
The
what you're doing
entire
is
premise of it is
so
how
what you
things
just
work.
did is what you just told me not to do. You answered a question with another question.
No,
What
I
you just
didn't.
told me not. Yes, you did
No, I
actually, because
didn't.
you just told me not
I
to do
said
that.
if I
And you
asked
just
you
asked me
that.
if the question. You said if the question was that the basketball bounced off the ground. Was that not a question? You said if
No,
the
that
question,
wasn't a
which in
question.
fact means
That wasn't a
that wasn't.
question. That was a situation
Okay.
because I followed it up as a statement.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead. I'll let you continue. I don't want to be rude. Go ahead.
The whole point was I asked you now if I asked you that would prove how the logic is broken because it's about how things work, not necessarily who has more skill doing anything.
So what
So
you're saying? Go ahead. Go ahead.
so basically, as I was telling you before about the technical things, like if anybody with a computer science degree can tell you whether or not code can run or not. That it doesn't matter if they're a student from MIT. It doesn't matter if it's Joe Blow down the street who's been coding since he was 8 years old. They'll be able to tell you the same things that a developer should be able to tell you.
So my question to you.
The only difference is what hardware they work on and what access to hardware they have. That is the only difference. Now, with regards to the group of people, the entity, quote unquote, that's a group of people on YouTube whatsoever. I have a group of people on YouTube, so we're the same.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay,
So now, if you want to weigh more one than the other, then you got to come up with reasons why. And that's what I've been trying to ask you. So if we're both the same and we both do the same thing, why do you weigh one more than the other? And you gotta be really, really, really discreet and list a lot of detail with that.
So in what I've asked you before, and you still have not answered
the binary question.
No. Okay. So, and as I said, like, that works both ways. You just claimed Joe Blow has the same set of knowledge. Do you trust Joe Blow to work in your best interest or the council of your choice? I won't even put it on the Wii U. Or do you trust the company and the brand who has stake into what's going on?
I'm going to answer this. I'm going to answer this because you say I haven't answered it. I want you to listen and I want you to pay attention, like really, really, really closely.
I'm taking
a scenario where you're talking about a popular entity versus an individual with, let's say, the same skill set, if you will. The problem isn't trustworthiness or brand at this point. The problem is capability and visibility, if you will. So right now we're talking about whether or not a game can run or code can run or a basketball can bounce or whatever, if you will. It does not matter what pedigree one person has versus another. If they're outright lying to you and the public can find out about it, i.e. via whistleblowers or whatever, then they would be exposed. Period. And a lot of times, and I'll tell you this straightforward, especially in the information technology industry, a lot of people do that to a lot of their clientele. Why? Just like a mechanic does. Oh, because he can. You're not gonna think anything different of it. Here's some jargon, and here you go. However, if you bring out information that is like, hey, guess what? Not only is this not public knowledge, but there is public information out there, and you can go see it, and you can see what I'm talking about is backed up by this. So you don't have to trust me at all. I am the person pointing to the information to tell you that the person that you do trust is full of shit.
That you supply when you deem fit.
I'm sorry?
That point too. That you supply when you deem fit. You don't always constantly supply that information. That is the basis of what I'm talking about. You supplied it. You supplied it to me today because I asked for it. Yes. You don't always supply. You do not, and you just said you have a channel. For what reason? You want to put information out on that channel that is not common knowledge. That you want. You seem to want to teach people. You have to constantly put that out there. Don't pick and choose when to do it. Do it constantly, 100% of that time.
Oh my God, I would do that if I was being paid on YouTube. I'm sorry, but that's an interesting request. I appreciate that. Thank you for instructing me on how to run my channel. But I'm good.
I didn't instruct you. I'm not instructing. You don't have to take it if you don't want to. I don't care.
That was a direction. That wasn't a suggestion.
I don't care if you take it. I mean, this is directed that kids do their homework too, but they don't do it.
That was a directive, not a question or a suggestion. I'm sorry.
Kids are directed to do homework, and they don't always do it. Yeah, is that not true as well, or what? You don't, just because you get directed to do something doesn't mean you have to do it. I'm pretty sure Michigan was not directing
anything. Why are you directing anything? I mentioned anything about your channel to tell you what to do. And I'm not going to.
No, you can't, because I don't have. Right, I'm sure you don't. My point is when you. Right, it's not what I'm saying. You're getting off topic here. You're getting off topic.
No, I'm not getting off topic. You're telling me what to do on my channel. And I'm telling you why that's broken.
You're going ahead. You're being overly aggressive. We're talking. This is why we're here. We are talking. We talking. All I'm saying is this was the basis of why I said I didn't trust you. You want people to supply proof, and you don't 100%. No, I don't care that you don't agree with me. I came in here full well knowing you weren't going to agree with me. That was the point of this. I don't think I've ever seen a ShadowCast where you and two guys actually were like, you know what, hey, I see your point, and let's agree with it. That's not the point of this, is it? I thought the point of it was that we were both going to come in here and say what we have to say. You seem, and that was my point, was that we don't have at 100% of the time from you information to prove what you're saying. Yet you require others to provide 100% of the time. You do not do the same.
That's not 100% of the
That is
time
my
either. That's
that
another.
that's my only thing. That's my only thing. That's all I have to say about it.
Well, your
So
only
you can
thing,
go ahead and continue what you're about to say.
your only thing is false because I don't ask that all the time. A lot of the time, some videos I have are actually opinions. Some of them I give about certain things, about games and things like that. But you know, whatever. Now, if you're talking about specifically the infernal thought process videos, and if they are directed towards, say, an entity within whatsoever, and if there's a specific fact that you think is missing that you would like to be on the video, then feel free to request it. Now, if you're just trying to say that there is a quote-unquote double standard, if you will, my problem from the beginning was not only is there a lack of information, the information that they bring forward is flawed. I'm investigating the information brought forward or the lack thereof. How can I provide my own information when I'm pointing out the broken one?
So, and that is my question to you. If you require people to go and get information that is also broken and flawed, yet somebody else wants you to do it, should you be absolved of that? You don't feel like there's no problem in that. You can point a finger, but you don't want to point it back.
My first video was talking about Bethesda, and at the end of that video, I said that Bethesda has not developed a game for the for Nintendo since the NES. How can I say this? How am I the burden of proof of that? Do I need to provide and show that Bethesda published a game for the NES, or is that pretty easy to find?
That's not the part of the video that I'm like talking about. I'm just talking about
so you're being
the part
specific.
Of the video I was discussing.
So what specifically are you talking about?
Which is when you ask for game Bethesda games running on the Wii U. I didn't ask you, and you didn't say. I don't know if anyone else brought that up. You did not bring that point up, and maybe someone else did. Maybe you're referring to another point.
What exactly did I say specifically?
Got into your technical talk. Yeah. About why? What was it? Was it Fallout? Was it Fallout? I can't recall which actual Bethesda game it was. Okay, so what Bethesda game was it at the time when that video was discussed?
That video that I was talking about Bethesda in general, and that was actually what I was just talking about. That was my first podcast.
Okay. So as I said, Bethesda games running on the. I'm not saying have they ever developed or has there been any games that they put out. The question was, could these games run on Wii U? I want to say, I don't know the guy's name. He didn't agree with you. You asked for why. What was the proof? Show him proof that it couldn't run. I asked you.
In the comments,
provide proof that it could. Yeah, I asked you. Provide proof that it could. Nothing. What I did get from you though. Did you
watch the video in question that you were replying on though?
Yeah, I actually remember looking back at that video.
Okay, so in that video, the only thing that I was pointing out was that there was a flawed comment in people using those headlines to say that Bethesda can't create for Wii U because the hardware was too weak. But when you actually go and you look at the actual quoted interview, it isn't saying anything like that.
Okay, that's
what that was about. So how did that conversation even evolve in the comment section?
No, and maybe you can enlighten me, because the basis from that, and I know I was not the only one there because I wasn't by myself watching that video. It ended up discussing and talking about, and maybe you remember the 2 hours or 3 hours or however long you were in there. Maybe you remember everything from that. It was about Bethesda games running on Wii U. And one of the people you had in your podcast in the cast said that no, it couldn't. You disagreed, which is fine. I don't care about that. I just asked for proof that it could because you wanted proof that they couldn't. So I'm just saying, if you want proof, if you want people to provide proof, provide it to you. That was my point. That has been my point 100% of the time. If you can't provide proof, you do not, at least from me, I do not know, who have no basis to stand on. Factually, I don't know you. I don't know how long you've been to school. I don't know what you do. I don't know how you work, and you develop and you write code. I don't know how long you do that. So why should I sit you in the same position as Digital Foundry, as Nintendo, as Microsoft or whoever else you want to name.
Who said
they have a higher, they have a higher standing. They have a higher standing than you do.
Who said they write code, and why are they at a higher standing? You don't know what Digital Foundry does because they don't tell you anything. You just know about them because you hear about it. What do you know about Digital Foundry?
What do I know about you other than you write code?
I know a lot about Digital Foundry. I know that their founder comes from the forums of daggone Eurogamer.
Okay.
So I know a lot about who they are.
Okay,
so
that's fine. But I don't know you.
If you don't know that,
I don't know you. That is, and
I just gave you quite a bit of information. I just gave you quite a. I
heard your information. I heard it.
Okay. So I gave
what I said.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I gave you quite a bit of information about the person that you claim you don't know. Quite a bit more than you probably know about Digital Foundry because you didn't even know who the founder was.
And I don't know who Shadow Fox Infinite is either. I don't know every.
Quite a bit of information though. You know more about me right now than you do about Digital Foundry.
I know that you went to school to write code, and that's what you do. Just like I know Digital Foundry apparently runs against things that the math does not add up. They don't have any source. They don't have any materials to actually prove what they're getting. I don't know where did you go to school? Should I 100% trust you? Do I know what you're saying is factual? That's what I'm saying.
It's not even the school that really matters. It's the certifications after that. But whatever.
And what I'm saying, you're going off into something else because I think you see what I'm talking about.
No, I don't know you. Just like
I don't know them. I don't know Microsoft too, but I think I trust them to develop an Xbox One game before I do you. I'm sorry. Is that offensive?
You probably
to you?
Should.
Is that offensive to you?
No, that's not offensive.
Okay, so what's the big?
But you're talking about people. You're talking about people that specialize in video games, and they show you how they make video games. Digital Foundry doesn't show you anything about what they do. But you implicitly trust them.
You don't show me about what you do.
But you implicitly trust them. Why?
I didn't say I trusted them. You just said
you said you trust them more than me.
I said I trust but I said I don't trust them. If I had to put both of you there, this is the same thing for the Sonic game. They're both bad. I don't want you to win.
Hold on. Assume that there's no verses. Why do you trust them at all? Because you said you trust them more than me. Why do you trust them at all? That is the question.
The lesser of two evils?
No, not the lesser of two evils, because you're not even comparing me against them. Why do you trust them at all?
No, I'm not comparing them against you in this situation now. And I said at the beginning, when in my initial comment, what was my initial comment? Let's go back to that. What was my initial comment? When you asked me, did I trust them? What was my comment?
We're not talking about your initial comment. We're talking about those little arrows.
Right. Okay. So now.
Not now. I've been saying this for quite a while.
So what you're saying is that when I said Digital Foundry rated
what you said after that.
Should I put Shadow Fox over Digital Foundry? I don't know about Shadow Fox.
Probably for the same yeah, you probably could because your reasoning is the same. Because you don't know either one.
Right. So what you're saying, and I don't know Microsoft either, but I shouldn't trust them. I should trust you to make my Xbox games. I should trust you to make my Xbox games.
I mean, if you don't know,
if that's true, I want you to go in there and speed up Scalebound, bro. Help me out on that.
Speed up Scalebound? They don't make that.
Please do. Oh, well, go with Platinum. Go speed up in Halo Wars 2. So does Microsoft make that one, or is that not a Microsoft studio?
I think they have somebody else working on that. I don't think Microsoft's developing that in house.
343 didn't show that.
I get what you're trying to say.
Did 343 not show that? I'm pretty sure it was.
I
don't know. Who's doing Halo Wars 2 for me? Can you tell me that?
I don't think it's Microsoft Game Studios.
Okay. And
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's not Microsoft Game Studios. I think it's somebody else they have on deck, but it's whatever.
Like. That's all I'm saying, dog. I'm not saying that your knowledge is wrong, and I said that multiple times already. I'm not saying your knowledge is wrong. I'm saying that I don't know you. Why would I trust you when you're giving me sources? When you're giving me reasons not to trust you. I didn't say I trust Digital Foundry.
What reason did I give you?
Digital Foundry.
What reason did I give you?
We had this entire discussion on how you don't provide facts or you don't provide anything.
I didn't provide, but I just went over how I provided facts in multiple videos. You're talking about a very particular situation in which I even answered and gave you a link just now.
You answered and gave me a link now because you had what I demanded it like 3 times and I had to get it like 3 or 4 times.
Because I probably didn't reply to you and didn't pay attention to it.
No. I'm talking about now. We're talking about now. That you were supposed to. I got that link like what 20 or 30 minutes later, other than when you were supposed to bring it to me. All I'm saying,
sorry.
dog, is that
I'm sorry.
let me say this. Let me not say
on
this.
Demand? Like what are you talking
No,
about?
this is your cast in which you asked for specific and facts, and you asked me multiple times for specifics and facts. Yet you want them on demand. When you asked me for Zen, you wanted his HTML on demand. Did you not? Now it's not.
You said you did.
Now it's not. Now it's not. I'm just.
You said you had it on hand. You said you got a lot of stuff on here, but you have it. I said, okay.
I actually do. I mean, we're talking about one thing. That's all I'm saying is factually, you don't bring me anything to believe you. You don't bring me any links. You don't bring me articles.
I just did.
You don't supply anything.
I just did.
Do you want one time to make up for your what? How long?
You only complained about one time. In all the other videos I do post links, I just showed you.
I've mentioned multiple times. I was like, dude, I've seen a couple of your casts where you don't provide any links when you point the finger.
ShadowCast in front of thought process standards. ISO, Organization for Standardization. There are multiple links on here. Let's see, ShadowCast in front of thought process with talking about Power 7 in the Wii U. There's multiple links on that one. Let's see. ShadowCast discussion with Shokyo. Even on Shokyo, on his video, I went to his video and posted links to the things that he did not.
Was that the drunk one, or am I thinking about a different one?
What drunk one?
Okay, well, if we don't know what I'm talking about, then we won't go.
No, because it sounds to me like you're talking about something you drummed up from Lozy.
Oh, okay. If we don't know what I'm talking about, then we won't go there.
If you want to bring it up, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, no, it's not worth it. It's not because I don't have any factual article. I don't have any factual on that one.
No, you
so
don't.
I won't bring up the drunk one for that.
No,
I won't bring it up.
I hate to interject here, but I've been sitting here for the last 15 minutes or so.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, man. This is your show. I don't want to run your show, but I was invited here, or I asked to be here for a particular reason because I'm listening to this. Well, was listening to this via the regular feed with everyone else, and there seemed to have been a little bit of a snafu concerning what happened roughly a month and 2 weeks ago, concerning that show, that face-to-face between you and I. So I'm trying to be polite here.
You're trying to be polite.
Trying to be polite here. Please take note of that. Now.
No, I won't. But go ahead.
Okay. So as far as that is concerned, I'm gonna borrow your screen share here because I don't want to be the guy to be drumming up things out of thin air. So I'm assuming that the audience and yourself can see my screen as well. Now, you claim that as far as that is concerned,
Windows 10 is available.
Didn't get any of the links that I sent to you.
No, that was not the claim.
That was not the claim. So please clarify the claim before I move forward.
The claim was I saw all the notifications in my feed, and then when it got closer to the time of the podcast, they disappeared. And I also mentioned that in the video that I replied to you on. And I also made a comment saying, hey, since the links disappeared, I guess he's canceling the podcast. I will go get something to eat. And maybe we can do this again in another time.
No,
and
I will
trust you on that on both of your accounts.
Yeah, and I didn't see that plus come up at all. So maybe indeed we do have a little problem with Google Plus.
But did you see the video that I made about it and I screenshotted it? Did you see that?
No, I did not watch that video
because I could pull it up.
At that point in time, I had already become quite convinced to myself that I didn't really need to involve myself in any of this anymore. Like I said to you in my post on that video, and as GROCK most articulately brought up about an hour ago now. I don't even know how long ago it was that he brought this up originally. A lot of people came away from that video thinking that
Can I stop you real quick? Who is a lot?
Avoided the conversation.
Who is a lot?
The people in my live chat, the people in the comments section, the persons who plus the comment were in which I pretty much tried to implicate that you did avoid the conversation. So whoever those individuals are, they are the people I'm talking about.
Well, see, that's pretty
Okay.
funny because in that same video, I made a reply to you telling you everything that happened, and I got a lot of pluses there. So I don't understand what are you weighing one versus the other, or what are we doing here?
Okay, well, let's go to that video because I do have it right here. So
My
let's see.
video?
My video, not your video. My video. The night that this was supposed to take place, and
But you've
pretty
already
much the
seen that video.
catalyst.
You made it. Why don't you look at the one that you don't have information on?
Why would I do that?
Because that makes
Why would
sense.
I do that when this is what I'm talking about?
Because it
You
makes
see, you know,
sense.
you're trying to control this conversation.
No, look
And
right
I
there.
get
It
this
says right there,
is your
check your
show.
feed.
Yeah, check your feed.
Nightmare.
And I saw this. Replies. They're already open. Alchemist, he was the one that replied to you and told you that usually happens when the show is about to go live. This is
Yeah.
the source of information you were drawing from when you
And he's-
also
well, he's
likewise
not the
came to
only
the
one,
conclusion that is what happened.
He's not the only one.
Okay, moving on. Assumptions due to a Google fail. Then I replied to you here that you didn't see the link left in the instant messaging on Hangouts or the one I left on G Plus proper. Okay, fine. You just sent me 2 links via G Plus. They did not appear in my feed. However, when I went to your page on Google Plus, I saw them there. Good. So that explains those 2. Maybe you didn't see the links come up in your feed.
Because they disappear once you go to your. If you click on them one time, they're gone. Well, and once I clicked on it anyway, they disappeared because you had already started the live feed.
And the resolution to that is to send a direct link. This is what you were saying a little bit earlier. Am I correct with that? Good. So this direct link here, right here, you see your name.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure you see your name. You see the timestamp.
Uh-huh. Well, no, I don't see the timestamp. It just says September the 2nd.
September the 2nd at 8:53 p.m. That's what I see.
8:53?
Yeah.
Okay.
8:53 p.m. The time for the show was set by you because it was.
Oh, you put it in Hangouts chat?
Yes. Which is what I typically and usually do, as I can show you here. Well, I have some messages here. But I'm going to bring it up. This is how.
But that should have shown up as a post on my feed too, though, right?
It should have. No, not on your feed. But it should have gone to your phone, your cellular phone, if you have your phone linked to your Google Plus. It should have come up here. Were you on Google Plus at the time? Which I assume you were because you were due to appear on the show in a few minutes. I would assume that you would go looking to see what's going on.
No. See, here's the problem with that. ShadowCast Infinite is not a Google Plus account. It is a Google Plus site. Hangouts isn't going to show up like that.
Isn't it?
No, it's not.
So what you're telling me is that if I type in here and I say hello, you don't get that.
I'm looking. I'm trying to see right now. Let me look on here and see. No.
You didn't get that.
No. I don't have anything. I'll refresh the page again.
No. In instant messaging. Not your feed. In instant messaging. Yeah.
It isn't there. I don't have that option.
You don't have that. What?
No, because it's a page.
Okay. So it's a page. That's the reason why you didn't see these links.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm assuming the video that I did not watch, that you presumably explained all of this, was detailing that?
Yes, it was detailing how I mentioned that the invite. I saw the invites there. I came home and I saw the invites there about 8:30 or so, and you were trying to do the hangout or whatever at 9 o'clock. Right. So right around that time, I started to go ahead and jump into it. Well, I jumped into one. And I didn't see anybody there. So I jumped back out, went back to Google Plus again. When I went back on there again and I clicked on my feed again, the little bell or whatever for your notifications, and it was gone. Went down to previously read, it was gone. So I'm like, what the fuck? And I started looking around again, and when I looked around again, I did not see it anymore. That's when I made that post that I made, and it's in the video.
Okay, now as far as the links that you just sent to me, you didn't send it via instant messaging, and I'm like, okay, is this dude about to send these links or what?
And that's why.
Eventually, I did join this call.
Yeah, I don't send it via Hangouts.
GROCK just sent it to me, and that's how, via Hangouts. Now, that forced me, of course, where is the tab? Let's go to this one. That forced me, of course, to go look up your page here. ShadowCast Infinite. it was there, once it loads, that I saw the two links. When I hit sharing details, I see both of my accounts. So, in
Because
other words, I see
you have a regular account and not a page.
a regular account of the page.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, so in other words, this post here, where is it? Shit, let me go back. This post here that I previously highlighted, this post here, when I open it up, I see both the accounts, both ShadowFox Infinite and Tobias One. Tobias One is a page as well?
No, Tobias One is in an account, but I haven't looked at that account in years. Well, actually, probably a year.
A year. Okay.
I use it almost specifically for work now.
Almost specifically for work. Okay. Because I do seem to remember. If you don't mind, I just kind of share
I post on it, but I don't look at it on Hangouts at all.
You don't look at it in the Hangouts at all. All right.
Mm-mm.
Well, then that was the issue. Now, I don't, like I said before, I said it in the video multiple times, that because of what took place here that night, there are going to be people walking away from that with a certain opinion, an opinion that you will not consider favorable. So if you were upset about that, there was nothing from my end. Good, very good. Because I myself have moved on for the most part. I mean, among my group, it may come up in conversation from time to time, and it is quite a little bit of a funny point. We do laugh about it from time to time when we
it's
look back
funny,
at what
but
happened.
the question is why.
Yeah. Why is it funny?
If I didn't run away from Logik, if I didn't run away from any of these other people that I've debated from time and time again, why would I run away from you?
Frankly speaking, dude, I didn't know. I don't know why people decided to run away from other people. I don't know why anyone would. Because as far as I'm concerned, I'm one dude on, well, thousands of miles from where you are, and you are in your home, wherever in your home you happen to be.
I don't care if we were
having a
next
conversation.
door. If we were next door, why would I run away? We could do a video or whatever together. I don't care.
Exactly. So I found it kind of strange that you did not appear when I used the very same methods that I used to invite Twilight Bites, to invite Terminator Juice and Mr. T, who all turned up on time. Well, except Mr. T, he did have some issues that one day, but we rectified it and it was pretty much kosher. But we did work it out and they did turn up. So I found it pretty much confusing that I had provided 3 very separate occasions upon which I showed that this wasn't the typical exposure video. This wasn't a debate trap, so to speak. It wasn't even meant to be a debate because that franchise, that show, should I say, is meant to avoid the debate culture, and I proved that 3 times over. So I was sitting there confused as to why you weren't appearing, unaware of what I learned tonight, of what you shared with us tonight, that this was a page. Never before, whether in text, well, we haven't actually spoken.
It's in text. It's on that video. It's another comment right after you. It was the very last comment I made on that video. Everything that I just said is on that comment.
Is on the comment indicating that your account is a page, cannot receive instant messaging, and your other account you haven't used or checked up in a year. That information is here in this post?
The Hangout, no. But everything else on there, if you look at what it says about the notifications and everything else, they disappeared. Because the whole thing was, no, you saw the notifications, you just didn't want to go. No, I saw them from the beginning, but I couldn't get back to them to click on them.
Okay, all right.
That was the whole thing I was trying to bring forward.
So this entire situation is misconstrued because from my point of view, sitting there waiting for you to appear, I decided to go to your YouTube page, and that's where I saw that video of yours that I screen shared in the video. At the very end of the video, it seemed as if, to me, at that point in time, given the situation that I had currently found myself in, an impatient audience waiting for a show to start, me, myself, getting more and more frustrated with the current situation, unable to contact you, not sure where you were. So I went to go see what's going on, and a video timestamp the very same day. I believe you told me something about you were waiting for it to get approved or something, which was the reason why you uploaded it.
Yeah, that video was private for quite a while before I actually released it. I just happened, it just so happened Jay said you could post it, so I posted it that day.
Okay, yes, and I am aware of how the game is a large work. I mean, it's only been 6 months, but I haven't forgotten yet how it works. However, I was not provided with that information until this went down, or after it went down, actually. I was already off air by the time I started seeing these comments pop up.
Yeah. And I put that comment. I put a comment on that video too. The video that I made that you replied to. in the comments on that as well. I said, hey, this video has been private for a while. I was just allowed to put it up.
Right. That is
For
where I
fear
saw
that it wasn't
it.
inflammatory.
Right, and I took the 20 minutes or so after the start time, 9 p.m., which was set by you September 2nd, Wednesday, and I watched that video of yours, and I walked away from it with the opinion, I'm not going to directly quote you, I'm probably going to end up paraphrasing, but it pretty much came off as if you were not willing.
Yeah, I addressed that to him. I addressed that to him in my reply video. Exactly what I meant by that.
This was the reason why, when I finally did go on air after watching that video and not having heard from you yet, and not being privy to any of the information that you gave to me tonight, that myself and several others walked away from that situation on Wednesday, September 2nd, with the opinion that you avoided the conversation. Nope. Which is why I repeatedly said, after saying, I'm sorry, but if you are offended by this, if you manage to listen to this at some point, because I wasn't aware if you were, and the way I do these things now, there's a live chat towards the side here that usually replaces the first 4 or 5 videos. That would have been the easiest way to contact me and let me know that you were watching, and we could have figured it out right then and there.
Real quick,
but anyway, that's aside from the point.
Real quick, Zen, because G-Rock mentioned that he got a dip anyway. So this is what I want to say. His main thing this whole time was that he doesn't trust me and has no reason to trust me whatsoever because he doesn't know me. You, however, Zen, we have been doing podcasts together for what, maybe 18 months, if not longer?
Maybe longer.
So what would make you think out of 18 months of time of me doing debates with God knows who and whoever, what would make you think that I would actually run from one?
I don't know, man. People change, man. People change, and people have different reactions to certain things, and I had no idea what was going on that night. I reacted to it in the manner at that time that I considered appropriate, and all I got to say is I'm not blaming you entirely because you gave me some information here that makes me go back to that night and see what went wrong and exactly when it did. But we were both in error that night, and so we walked away from that with the attitudes towards each other and towards that night and the events that transpired therein the way we did. That's what I'm going to say. As far as I'm concerned, it's in the past. Yeah. But it constantly gets brought up because of your recent fondness, I think is the polite word to use here, fondness of 2 members of my new group. Being active Zen Gaming, Alex, and of course G-Rock, which led to tonight. So it constantly gets brought up. Otherwise, honestly speaking, man, and this is not an offense to you if it comes up.
What do you mean by fondness, though? I'm sorry. I just had to know what you were talking about. What do you mean by fondness?
Familiarity with their posts and what they say on Google Plus. It seems to me.
You mean by replying to them?
Yeah, that you consistently reply to them despite never being able to see eye to eye.
I cannot reply to them if that offends them.
It doesn't offend me. I'm not bothered. I don't care about talking. Like I said.
Okay. So what's the issue?
I don't care. I don't care.
There is no issue as far as I'm concerned.
And I will do this. I will at least give Shadow Fox the applause because at least the nigga talks. He will at least hit me. Some of the other people do make posts. I ain't gonna name drop because it's not the time and place for that. But whatever. But I'm not afraid to talk to anybody. Like in the post where you said I refuse to hang out. I know that was a misunderstanding. I don't refuse to hang out with you. I will always come to hang out.
That was another comment you made somewhere else where you didn't really say that you wouldn't do a hangout. You just said that why should I based on whatever, I don't know.
No, I said why. I said there was no point in talking to you. So I didn't refuse to hang out with you. You can always ask me to come to hang out. Like you said, I'm not gonna run from another grown man. I don't have anything to run from. We can talk like we did today. I don't have a problem with that.
Is their both muted now, or is this something going on my end? I'm not sure.
Oh, that was but I don't know if you
okay. I don't know if you say you have 10 minutes left, G-Rock? All right.
Yeah,
so as far as I'm concerned, that issue is resolved, and there is one more thing I would like to hit, if it's okay with you, ShadowCast. There seems to be a little bit of animosity, I believe is the word I should use here, between not just yourself, but our individual groups, when I think that it should have long, long ago been resolved by now, if there was any reason for it to pop up in the first place. I left that group in what I believe is good graces for certain reasons, and whatever transpired thereafter transpired thereafter. But I think we've all put it to rest. That being said, I need to leave this call tonight, not with a reassurance, but with some words from you, I suppose, that indicates that we can put this to rest and we can move on with our individual lives. I mean, I think members of my group and myself specifically, I'm not going to speak for them, we all have better things to do than to argue back and forth with each other. And the leader, or the remaining leader of that group that I left, I know for a sure fact that he does not appreciate any of this infighting between once former teammates, friends, whatever you classify this relationship as.
Hey,
So,
before you answer that,
I don't see it
Shadow,
as infighting. I don't have any infighting. I mean, what would classify as that? I don't.
I don't know,
before y'all go
but
back and forth, let me say thank you
Mhm.
for inviting me, dude. If you would like to ever discuss with me again or have a conversation, let me know. I'm available. Is that cool with you?
Here's my thing. Regardless of everything else, and I've sent this to Bear. I've sent it to everybody else whatsoever. I don't care what is happening. Even Nate still gets these every now and then. I do a ShadowCast at least once a month, and when I send one, I send it to just about everybody. So everybody has an opportunity. Zen, you've seen me send invites to you.
No.
You haven't.
No, I am aware of that podcast. Maybe it was a ShadowCast, because one of my subscribers sent it to me under, of course, yes, Zen Gamer exposed, blah blah blah. Check this out, dude. Shadow Fox is talking bad about you and your new crew. So out of curiosity, I go and I look at it. Sure enough, there were no names called, but I knew the instances you were referring to when you were making your points across the length of that video, or the length of the segment in that video. So you mentioned that you left the links to the call and you would have liked everyone to come in there to defend themselves or to represent themselves. I can speak for
Yeah,
myself
I
and I
don't
can
even
speak for
want
the
to.
rest of the group when I say that we all agree individually, having all different pages on Google Plus, that we never received any invites.
Wow,
So,
because I sent them to you. I know specifically I sent them to Coupon, Mega, and Real Gamer at the time. And G-Rock's like, you sent it to Real Gamer and not me. But yeah, yeah. I sent them to you four.
Nah, to
mm,
all of
I
that,
sent
out
it.
of
I sent it to Bear
everything that
Hugger
was
too
said, that's
later.
what offends me. I didn't get one, but Real, who was last in the group, got it. Whatever. But
Yeah.
okay.
You said that's an ongoing thing. I don't. I don't. That's obviously an in joke. I don't. Yeah. I'll let you have that one. But yeah, so I sent it to, yeah. The last ShadowCast that I did, yeah, that was sent to everybody. So, and I know there's Google isms, whatever. So I'm not gonna sit there and say, I'm not gonna say that anybody tried to duck anything or that you decline it. But the only one I know you did decline was one that I did prior to that, and I had the list of topics up there, and you said you looked at the topics and didn't want to do it. So
right,
that's
yes, I
understandable.
remember that. Yeah, I
So
remember that. I remember that. Mhm.
table's always open. I never close the door for if I've done 3 debates with Lozy. I think it's cool at this point.
All right.
Let that be let that be the bar, if you will. So at the reply to
So,
the video that I did to you, the second video
yeah.
that I did to you, at the very end, it talked about all of this was misunderstanding, miscommunication, and based on that, we make emotional or non-emotional responses therein. And my
This is
whole my
entirely
whole
true.
that you said no, it's not.
No, I said it is entirely true. Yeah.
Yeah, it.
Yeah. So,
So I was just saying that, and that just to not necessarily to clear the air, but just to say, hey, everybody's a person, and everybody has perspective, and it's real easy to have it painted based on whatever's going on. I try not to do that unless I have as much information as possible. And
mhm.
I got a little snippy in some of the things that I said because there were some assumptions that you made about me, whatever, that I'm like, come on, I figured you knew this while we were doing podcasts together. But you know, whatever. I don't care I never really cared to begin with, but it's just I don't understand why anybody would think that there's a quote unquote rift, if you will. I think it's more so just I won't call them puppets, but the puppet wannabes pulling the strings behind everything else. That, like you said, they'll send you a link here, send you a link there, and one person in particular we've already talked about today pulls strings for everybody because they want to see what's going to happen. So I can list quite a few of them, but they do it quite a bit, and they name drop and do other stuff, and then they'll go on other people's podcasts to talk about it, and they say, hey, did you see it? And yeah, it's not. Yeah, some of the people that are your followers or that are in your chat or whatever, they exist to go to where they think drama is going to be, and then they cause it. And we could talk on that at a later point, but
yeah, I suppose we can. Because this is running a bit long. I just wanted to come in and clear up that night. So for anyone watching, for anyone who will watch this once it's processed, put up on YouTube, there you have it. It was a misconstrued situation. We both reacted in a way that we assumed was appropriate at the time, turned out not to be. We both had lack of information of the situation. There you go. We can put it to rest.
You don't get no clearer than that. Now, me and G-Rock, we're going to continue to disagree, I guess, because that's entertainment. I don't know, but...
that being said, though, let me just quickly just drop something on what G-Rock was saying. I don't want to come in here, take his side, and create like a weighted environment or whatever, but I do see where he's coming from concerning that digital foundry thing. Because I was witness to it, I just didn't comment because I really don't need to be involved in anything else.
Okay.
So I sat back and observed. I looked at the conversation and restarted one after the originator of the post that started it all, Alex Activson, put it up. He closed it, or he shut down comments, and it restarted somewhere else. And I happened to find my way to that one too. So I've been following the conversation.
Yeah.
The way I see it from your point of view,
HTML5 is a wonderful thing.
Hey yo, I had to dip out, but thanks for letting me come in, dude.
Man, no problem, man. Oh, hey, give him a shout out before you leave. Introduce everybody to I guess because I might have viewers that don't follow you, so let them know who you are.
I'm G-Rock, 1021 Chozo Blood. I don't have a channel. I just be in Reboot, but I am starting one up. And as I said, thanks for letting me come in, man. If I am able to, I will definitely come back and discuss.
And I tell you what, I'll put a link to the community on the description of this video as well.
Cool. Later.
Alrighty.
Okay. See you later, man. Yeah. So like I was saying, you do have that set of knowledge, dude. Nobody's doubting that. I mean, hell, when we were in Gamers at Large, there's an in-joke. I'm not sure if you know about it. Maybe one of those situations where you don't. We referred to you as the Kraken because if anyone had any tech issues, anything that revolved around tech, we would unleash you, and that would pretty much settle it for the group.
Yeah, for the most part.
For the most part, exactly. So trust me when I say that. Forgetting G-Rock for the moment, I'm walking into this with a bit more knowledge of who and what you are and what you do. That being said, even given our 18-month, perhaps longer period of time knowing each other, when it comes to Digital Foundry, do I trust them? Which was your question to G-Rock.
Yeah.
There are some situations where using my limited knowledge on this subject, I'm not saying I'm the biggest tech guy, and I'll never say that shit, but using my limited knowledge of this field, I can say there are some times where it feels like to me, opinionated, that it's a little bit off, or there are situations where I see them do certain things and it really does not lead to you trusting them. 59.9 frames, Mario Kart, remember that bullshit?
Yeah.
So the missing 0.1 frame or whatever it was, you could probably explain that a little bit more and more articulated than I could. But that's one occasion which I remember that it hits their trust, or at least their bank of trust. You go in there, you're like a little bit skeptical of what you're going to say. That being said, if you, on the other hand, came up and said, hey, well, Mario Kart 8 is running at a full 60, is running at a rate that, you really wouldn't see that 0.1 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
As a general gamer, just run-of-the-mill gamer, ground-level guy, even knowing you, I'm going to have to find it very hard because, hell, I'm not understanding hell. I'm not understanding nothing what you're saying, right? From a technical perspective, that is not my field. So you say your thing, and I just nod over here, and I'm like, I don't really walk away from that with any more knowledge than I went into. Neither do I when it comes to Digital Foundry, but again, they are established.
Yeah,
and it kind of
that's what I was trying to point out to him was that here's the reason why anybody would trust them. They have sponsors. Their sponsors are the press. Well, Eurogamer is their sponsor because it exists in their ether. They're basically their in-house tech guys or whatever. So other sites start to quote them because they're in the press, and they're going to start quoting them too. And so if you follow that press, then you're going to follow where they supposedly get their information, and that's where that's how everybody gets involved in this circle to begin with anyway. Not how exactly they get their information. It's just the fact that the people pointing to their information are people that other people favor.
Okay.
And that's part of the infernal thought process stuff, and that's the reason why I point them out as much as possible anyway. And I'll probably end up doing a video on them probably in detail with some other stuff. I got to fix my capture card so I can show the difference between people and tell them exactly that you don't really get 60 frames per second anyway, because TVs don't, for the most part, don't have that as an established broadcast standard. But there's a lot of different ways that I just really hate the fact that they're not transparent, because everybody else is. If you go to any other tech site out there that does the same things that they do, but for computer games, they tell you exactly everything that they do to arrive at the decisions they come to. And Digital Foundry never does. That not once have they shown you their capture equipment. They don't show you how they measure anything, how they capture frame times or anything like that, or whether they're full frames or not. So
yeah. No, well, the thing is, I understand. Well, not understand, but I get what you're saying, right? But I cannot, even if I were you, dude, and I were in your shoes, and I was the one in that conversation with GROCK or whomever else. It didn't even have to be him. Whoever else you
got, right?
Exactly, right? I mean, that's the expected reaction you walk away from in a situation like that, because you have these people over here who are super established, and there's one guy who may know more but is not. It's kind of like a situation where, I would faster, even though I don't trust Nike whatsoever. I think they make shit shoes. That's my personal opinion. Don't jump on me, anyone, for that. GROCK would jump on me for that shit. We've had arguments about it. But anyway, I cannot spend $300, $400, $500. That's just a rough price, right? And I don't know if that's the actual price of any of these shoes, for a street vendor selling a pair of shoes. He just tells me, okay, I have 30 years of experience making shoes. And right next to him, or he's selling right outside of the official Adidas or Nike store. I'm like, yeah, bro, thanks for the offer, but I'm going to go inside and buy a branded shoe. Because I think it'll be a safer bet to put this money on a company that I have known about for a long period of time. I'm not doubting that you probably know more about shoe construction, sturdy shoe construction, than they do, but it's hard for me to drop the price you're asking, which is matching the price inside. So
I understand that perspective. I definitely understand that perspective, and me personally, I'm grown, so I don't deal with the expensive shoe stuff anymore anyway. That's for my kids to get, so they can appreciate it for the little time that they get it before they get grown. Right. So here's the thing. The only difference between that is, and like I was telling GROCK, is it's not about me selling you the shoe in the example that you're talking about. It's that me knowing that a shoe protects your foot from damage. And the person that is well known, everybody goes to, is telling you that not every shoe will protect you from damage, even though they're all made the same.
Right.
If you get what I'm saying, it's not just a, hey, this brand versus this little dude. It's, hey, this little dude knows that water is wet, and these motherfuckers are saying water isn't wet just because they are who they are. And that's my whole point.
Yeah, that's 100% fine, man. And I see where you're coming from. Don't get me wrong. I'm not here to belittle your perspective.
Rain in this situation isn't exactly common knowledge. You have to have some kind of base before you, and that's the only problem.
And that's the problem, man, because 90% of the people walking around, well, not walking around, but typing around on the internet, clicking around, they don't know what any of this stuff is. But you based your career on it, and so you've built up a large knowledge base on that. However, a lot of people don't know that, so they see the shiny logo, the Digital Foundry logo, and then they see your video on your channel. One is factually correct, or one may be made to correct Digital Foundry's errors. But the average person is going to walk away from that saying, "Oh, well, I don't know this guy, but I do know Digital Foundry." Yeah. The same is like if I have an opinion on if I do a review on my channel, a game review for a Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony game, whatever have you. IGN gives this given game a 6, and I put up a video saying, "No, that's bullshit. They don't know what they're talking about. This game is clearly a 9." People are going to come to my channel, and those who trust me and have the same opinions of IGN as I do, they'll be like, "Yeah, Zen is right on this." But people who stumble onto my channel be like, "Who is this guy? And why is he blaming IGN?" They've been around for 20 years. I don't know how long they've been around for. 15 years. Doing reviews. These people get paid to do it, but this guy is just on YouTube talking about his opinion. They're both opinions, but one is clearly weighted and one isn't. So
with that, I kind of have a hope. I guess we go ahead and I guess we can cut this short in a little bit, but I have a hope. It may be a false hope for my channel, but I hope to be kind of like how the YouTube reviewer is, because I won't say there's been a resurgence because it didn't really happen to begin with, but there is an increase or an influx of people. I'm pretty sure you could probably see in your opinion as well, that are going to YouTube specifically for reviews because they're a tad bit more trustworthy. Now some people are sponsored now, so you probably can't trust them no more than you would trust IGN or whatever. But there are other people that like. If I were doing,
I call it the grassroots movement. That's what I call it, the grassroots movement. We at YouTube here, and this might be a bold statement, we're kind of taking away from the media. We're kind of doing it ourselves.
Because you could tell because they're getting desperate now. They're coming up with, they're trying to use the fanboy wars to get you to go back and click over there. They're doing a lot of stuff now to where they're losing ad revenue. So, and I think it's in part to, I won't say us because I'm not a part of that. I don't review heavy like a lot of these other people do. But I want the rest of that information to also come out as well, instead of, like everybody that has a game out there that may have been shitted on by IGN or whatever because their publisher doesn't want to do business with them as far as advertising goes, and then another person writes a glowing review about it and say, "Hey, this game is actually good. Why did they shit on it?" And then you start to uncover all the real dirt or whatever and go from there. Versus, I want to be able to do that not only from the tech side, but from the business standpoint of things or whatever. So people aren't just taking things with a grain of salt or taking things face value. When Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, Ubisoft, all these motherfuckers, they are greedy corporate ass businesses, and they don't care about you.
Exactly.
So why should you trust them? Why should you trust IGN? Why should you trust GameSpot? Why should you trust any of these sites that are known to be business partners with any of these individuals? For the same reason people refuse to read Game Informer should be the same reason you don't trust a multi-platform review on, insert major gaming site.
That is absolutely correct. But the one thing I will say to that end is that the mindset, the grassroots movement, if you will, it is a work in progress. The mindset isn't the popular opinion yet. We have a long way to go. So we still have people running around taking word from any of these websites, Digital Foundry, IGN, or otherwise, as the gospel truth. So that's a hard force to fight against. I get it. I know. But, I see it from both sides. That's what I'm trying to say. I see it from both sides. Yeah.
Fighting a losing battle. Why are you trying? That kind of thing. I get it. I get it. Yeah, I get it. It's
absolutely. Anybody can look at my channel in the last 3 or 4 months and see what a losing battle looks like.
Well,
so yeah.
And I just exist to provide the info. That's all I do. And when I, every now and then I may throw a review together or something. I don't know, but that's just majority of what I try to do, man. I don't want anybody to, I won't say make a uninformed decision, but I wouldn't want anybody to think this is exactly how games are made, or this is exactly why certain things are possible. I just really think with so many people being on Google Plus, which is considered the nerdiest of social media platforms, that a lot of these people would be able to see the forest for the trees. But it seems like a lot of them are they're nerds about one thing, and they can get real particular and probably talk tech on the PC side more than anything else. But when you start talking about a video game console, which is nothing more than embedded PC, all of a sudden they're hands off and they're like, well, I'll leave it to the tome or the magic monolith that tells me what's in there. And to me, that blows my mind. But you know, it is what it is. So
yeah.
Anyway,
I see how it could be hard from your perspective. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
One thing I will say though, you can kind of say that face to face did indeed happen a month and 2 weeks late, but it kind of happened. And for the record, if anyone listening who will listen,
face to face. You can copy it if you want and put it on your channel. It's up to you, man. I don't. You don't.
No. I'm not gonna do that. I don't believe in taking content from people, especially when I've been here for the minority of the time. I don't.
Well, I'm not getting nothing from
what I will say. What I will say is though, there is no issue. I hope there isn't any issue between you, me, between your group, my group, or at least from now on. I think we can kind of coexist. We don't have to sing kumbaya, but I don't think we need to be dagger at the truth either. So
I don't make decisions anyway. So it's. You know, it's whatever. I was just very vocal because I saw things, and I know Alex trolls or whatever, but you know, every now and then I let him feed me because he posts a lot of he put a lot of posts up every day. So
yeah, he does.
I'm not going to see all of them.
And I've said this before to Mizzy and to Terminator Juice, who may or may not be listening. I don't know, but that's who the dude is. That's his game.
Yeah,
and that's how he gets his Jones and how he gets his giggles. The rest of us in the group, when he does get those kind of responses that are angry and all angsty, and you know, it goes off into
perceived,
perceived to be, and goes off into 40, 60, 70 comment threads when all the dude put up was 5 words. We're like, all right, well, you know, they're making you a success. That's all I'm going to say, but. It's been one of my long-standing creeds, you could say, concerning YouTube, the internet in general, because YouTube wasn't my first foray onto the internet in this for gaming or whatever.
Same here, doing a video about that too.
Right. If you don't like what someone has to say, and they consistently annoy you, maybe with factual errors or whatever the case may be, it really gets under your skin, or maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's just that eyesore that you don't like seeing. It would serve you the best way to simply ignore it, and in so doing, you would be shocked to believe that you would actually diminish the presence of such a post, and that individual, whether it be Alex or anyone else, any troll, whether friendly troll like Alex is, or the mean ones that really want to get you, they're gonna go away. They're gonna move on to the next gullible target. That's all I'm gonna say.
Now, do you really think that would apply to me? Knowing who I am, do you really think?
Again, man,
the whole reason I do
it in 4 or 5 months.
I'm not doing it for that individual.
Yeah.
I'm doing it for whoever else is looking. If you get what I'm saying. So it's not. Yeah, it's not me. Hey, I'm so mad. I'm gonna blah blah blah. No, let's just not let this be common knowledge. That's basically my entire gist about that, and not just him. Everywhere. And if you notice at the beginning of the video that quote unquote started all this, I was talking about some really big Google Plus people and some really big YouTube video at the beginning of that video. And
yes, I remember.
Yeah, I'm not. I just don't really. I just can't jive with, because a lot of these people truly believe this stuff, and I don't want that to ever be mixed from what some people may be doing just to drum up more views, or what some people truly believe, but it's also drumming them up views and they're doing that. So that's my only thing, man. And Alex will be Alex, like I said, just like you know, some other people will be who they are or whatever. And I just can't mention their name right now because that'll make them want to. They'll do a video on me right now as soon as I put the channel up, because that's all they waiting for me to mention their name. So, but yeah, my whole thing was I didn't understand what the entire deal was. Apparently there was some internal strife with people that you thought were members of whatever at the time, and they really didn't have any power whatsoever in that situation, and they weren't really officially in anything.
I was lost here. I caught up with you. Yeah,
I'm wondering if that's I don't know if that's what started any of that whatsoever, but it just seemed like at that point there was a distinct change in behavior to the point where I'm like, I sent you like some stuff and like I ain't even get a reply. I'm like, damn, he not talking to us now. What's going on? So that was the whole perceived anything. I don't know if anybody made any videos about that or whatever. I didn't say anything until the video I just made a couple of weeks ago or whatever. I hadn't been really, because I didn't know anything. I didn't know what was going on. All I knew was apparently it started after E3, and I'm like, over E3, really? But so and people started like moving unmasked, and I'm like, what's the deal? What's going on? What's the problem or whatever? And you left a comment explaining things, and it was really, really vague. So I'm like, okay, did somebody really get to cussing or something and I didn't hear it? That was
no.
That's really what I wanted to do the face-to-face about.
Oh, that's really what you wanted to do face-to-face about?
Yeah, because I didn't know what's going on. That's what I was like. So so when you did another podcast or whatever, and Jay messaged you in the middle of while you were doing it, I don't know if it was because of that or not, or if it was other things as well.
No.
So
for the record, me and Jay, we're good, man.
Yeah,
nothing has changed as far as this is concerned. He wasn't a podcast of mine like a week or two ago.
Yeah.
We continually talk behind the scenes, like without you, the audience, seeing it. We consistently talk, so there's no issue there. As far as without going into more details, because I do understand that ShadowCast wants to end this, and this could easily be another half an hour. Maybe we will get to doing that face-to-face after all on this topic, because I was unaware that this is what he wanted to talk about.
Now the question is I don't want to waste that time. So is that a topic that you feel will resolve any issues, and how would you want to do that? Do you want to do one-on-one with me, or does it need to be somebody else, or how do you want to? Because that's the only question that I wanted to air. I don't even really have to be around for the answer, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I can be in it. I don't care.
Yeah.
So
as far as it's concerned, it could be me and you, and through you we can get the message across, pretty much like through GROCK and through this conversation, which really didn't start off being about this. We can get a message out to the fans or whoever, as you say, is perpetuating this.
Yeah.
So, that would be it. But I will say about that situation, though, is that no, it wasn't anything about getting into cussing or getting to wanting to kill anyone, as some believe. When I say that, those couple individuals who think it went that far, I'm talking to you. I know you're listening to or will.
Yeah.
So, as far as it's concerned, my move out of the group, I'm not sure about about what happened thereafter, but my move of the group was initially, I came to that conclusion because I didn't want to be in there when and if anything did blow up truly between myself and other people because of what my new approach would have been. And my new approach now. I don't have to get into that. I'm not going to together again. Time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and you think that would have caused just because you have a different opinion?
Not just a different opinion, but an extreme opinion with perhaps, how do I put this? Perhaps a couple digs, I suppose would be the word to use there, to certain individuals, or something that would be perceived as digs. We just came from the resolution, or the supposed resolution, of an entire issue, a month and a half long issue, that came from misconstrued points and things that weren't perceived the correct way as they were intended to. So, as a preventative measure, mostly as a preventative measure, I left the group because I still, at that point in time, maybe still do now, I don't know, and I'm not going to talk about it right here, have love for that group. And I didn't want any of my actions or any actions relating to me to tear the group apart in terms of the harmony that had been established there. And my true intention was to establish my own group, which I have gone on to do with individuals who just so happen to have left also, but also maintain Gamers at Large and see that you guys can go forward doing what you originally wanted to do, your mission statement. I didn't want my departure or my decision to stay in there while any of this, as far as it went, or maybe would not have gone that far to affect the group. It was a decision made for the benefit of the Gamers at Large, essentially. I didn't want any of it to affect the group. So I think one way or the other, it may have done so anyway. Maybe it was a waste of time. I don't know. And I'm using I'm playing the pronoun game a lot here. I understand that. Might be frustrating some of the viewers. But I don't want to get into it right now because we're running a little bit long on time. Shadow Fox want to end the podcast. But we may be speaking off air about getting something going maybe in the future very soon. And I guess you will hear it once again, because I kind of did explain this before, but you will hear it once again, whether on my channel and his channel, doesn't matter where, in true form at that time. So I hope that after that, and after this particularly, we can all walk away from this and kind of just say, okay, it happened. Let's move on. Water under the bridge, that sort of thing. No use crying over spilt milk. And there was a lot of spilt milk.
A lot of milk. We need some cats.
Yep.
But yeah, I had some Q&A, but they're full of people trying to start stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call this one. This has been unnumbered ShadowCast, a discussion with both GROCK and Zen Gamer, surprise guest. So Zen, go ahead and give your outro. So everybody that doesn't know, I don't know who they are, that doesn't know who you are, can follow you.
Okay, well, you already know who I am. I'm fairly sure a couple of you may have followed me here. You saw my avatar or whatever, maybe it'll spread somewhere. But yeah, this was pretty much just a resolution between myself, one other member, and another one who isn't here. And hopefully we can move forward from this. I'm pretty sure you know who I am. And if you do, well, you can follow me back to where I came from. Zen Gamer, under the same name, the channel, and Logik Gaming, respectively. But yeah, I'm kind of glad that this happened. I'm kind of glad I was able to talk with you because we hadn't done so in at least 6 months. And I think this might be a step towards correcting former errors, problems, issues.
I think so. I figure that letting it all air will definitely we'll get there. So yeah, but anyway, this is Shadow Fox Infinite, the person you love to hate. And as I always say, do you play games to have fun or to impress other people? And we're out. We have to say something while it's about to cut off, by the way. So, you know, hey, screw all y'all.
Yeah, something like that.